Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining this iMasons India Chapter meeting today. My name is Simon Allen, and I'm one of two executive directors at the Infrastructure Masons. I'd like to now welcome our speaker, Mr. Sanjay Bhutani, who's the SVP for Data Centres at Adani Connects. And Sanjay and his team have been thinking about potential initiatives for the iMasons India Chapter members to get their teeth into. Over to you, Sanjay, and thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, Simon. Happy to be part of such a great initiative. I was listening to other speakers. It's very encouraging to get to know what's going on and how the positivity is flowing for a data center and other sectors, related sectors in India. So thank you for having me for the great event. So I'll straight jump to a subject which is very important for all of us. Society needs it, community needs it, and sustainability is important. So global warming itself is something all of us are aware. Last 3 decades, we can see there has been a shift in a lot of stuff what we are doing. So we have seen 20 warmest years. We have seen the change, which is species are actually at risk. Our rise in sea levels, which is going up, and there are greenhouses gases which are actually emitting a lot of stuff. So from a perspective like global warming, how it is impacting us, there are many things which are impacting. Floods are rising, droughts are increasing, sea levels are increasing, habitats are at risk. So there are a lot of impact which is happening, and the temperature itself, you can see on a slide, 1.5 degrees Celsius. That's a big change happening. So it is becoming a very big concerning for all of us. What do we do so that it helps us to be a better human being and better corporate? Sustainability is a collective effort which is needed for a society and a business. From a society perspective, I think it is going to impact our livelihoods. It is going to impact the ecosystem. It is going to impact our future. So these things are very, very important from a society perspective. From a business side, I think long-term planning and organization are also looking at a ESG part, which is environment, social, and governance piece, which is important. Collectively, we are going to make this change, and sustainability is something which is key to our lives. Here we go. So from a sustainability, straight jumping to a data center. Why sustainability in data center? Data center is a large ecosystem which has got energy. All of us understand that data center are a power guzzler. And the carbon footprint is something which is the key concern for us. And from a water side, I think clearly what we are getting it in data center from a water perspective, how do we become water positive? How do we make sure that space is something which is used currently? How can we become more efficient? E-waste is another large subject which we need to solve it. Currently, if you look at every electronic, which get actually, the life cycle is 5 to 6 years. At the end of the life, how are we going to use them efficiently so that we do a minimum e-waste? During a construction, there is a lot of waste. How do we make sure we become efficient on a life cycle? The chain itself is creating a lot of waste, and the e-waste management is a vast subject. Globally, people are watching it. People are experimenting it. I think this is a vast subject to cover it. And as far as the carbon neutral person goes, clearly, carbon itself is we have to produce less. Instead of finding a ways to mitigate, how do we make sure we actually generate less and less carbon? So those kind of ideas and things which are important for a sustainability side, data center is generating huge data across the globe, and this is going to go multifold up. And this is the right time we need to work on this, and we need to pick up each element and make sure we become efficient in each part. So addressing data center needs and sustainability is a thing which all of us are aware. Power mix is something which is in India currently 30-40% of the green power, and rest we are using it from the grid. New technologies to become a green data center is the key for our shift. Water consumption itself is the key element, which I spoke in my last slide. I think there are ways and means how can we become a water positive? When I say water positive, there are ways and means which globally people have experimented it. Now, in Adani Connects, we are coming up with a lot of new ways to become water positive. From an ecosystem perspective, I think planning, development, and operation, these are the life cycle of a data center. Planning itself, wherein what am I going to use from a construction perspective, from a design perspective, how can I become more efficient and sustainable? While recruiting people, how can I get people, those who have got a mindset of a sustainability? Health and safety is another piece, which is the key element for all of us, and the green certification norms for a development, and practicing development and construction itself is a value chain which we are creating. I think that is becoming efficient, and India is also adopting a lot of good practices, and we ourselves are creating a lot of use cases which are becoming a norm for rest of the world. So the last and the important piece is the governance and the operations. While we do all of that in a planning and development stage, I think governance is something which is the most important. How do we manage customer life cycle in an effective and efficient manner, where sustainability is the core of doing our business? Likewise, value creation for our investor is something which everyone who invests a rupee in a business, he looks up to us, how efficiently we are using that pie and what a value creation we are doing it for them. And ethics is something which is another softer aspect. Ethics on a sustainability and the way we do business is becoming very, very critical. And that's where the change is happening in India. And a lot of players and a lot of operators and a lot of customers, global customers, are helping us to replicate a lot of good practices there. Next one is very important. I think clearly tech giants are actually leading sustainability. The Google, Amazon, Microsoft, these are the few names what I put in a slide. These guys have already taken a lead. They have taken a lead, and they are the one who are helping us to achieve what we are supposed to achieve in data center. I think clearly the way we plan, the way we operate, the way we are doing construction, we are also taking bold steps. And as a community, we have to get together in India and globally as well. And we are making some society which is going to help us to make these processes robust and just copy paste. We need not to reinvent the wheel time and again. So carbon emission itself is something which people have taken a pledge 2025, 2030, and 40. And they have taken a pledge in multiple ways. And so as our organization is helping customers to become more efficient and more sustainable. I think the society needs community and the platform like iMason, which will help us to build and robust, sustainable processes and implementation. Clearly, it is going to be the way the tech giants have taken a lead. Our community of data center is going to see a big change, and it has already begun. How do we make sure these ideas are actually getting implemented in our lives? So policy advocacy is something which is going to play a key role. Currently, we know there are certain policies we have in certain states. We are working with government, and government have been, state and federal government have been very progressive to help us to how do we increase a mix of a green power, renewable power. This is something which is the key element for our change. And we have seen a lot of positive moves in many states, and we are hoping in a similar fashion, all these states are going to implement. We have seen from a central government, there is a policy is getting drafted, which will help us to become 100% green. This is the first step to become sustainable. The technological intervention is also going to play a key role, wherein we have got a lot of processes, a lot of innovations are happening in a different parts of the country. So we have proposed iMason can help us, all the community members, to come on one platform and just share your ideas, best practices, and just take it to your society, your country, your city, and just go copy paste. So what is happening is everyone understands the sustainability is a subject which we can't avoid. But a lot of things have to be to join together, which I'm sure iMason kind of organization can help us to come together, and technological innovation is something which can make a big change and which will make a big change. I'm sure iMason is going to help us. 100% RE is a board which all of us know, but India is not part of it currently. There's a great governance feedback framework is being built across the globe, and we are working with some of the players, and we are trying to be part of that collaborative effort for RE100. That brings in a lot of governance mechanism to India, and that governance mechanism is going to help us to implement. There are a lot of efficiencies which we can build in within renewable as well. So this RE100 is going to help us and become more efficient from a governance side. And this is India is going to get benefited by RE100, and we are going to lead this for rest of the operators and the data center and corporate houses. This is going to be a big change for India. So from a social responsibility, I think clearly there are water reuse, sewage, skill development. Skill development is something which is very important aspect. How do we make sure we develop people to understand the social response? How do we build community of interest in a social environment so that people themselves take these initiatives and implement in their own personal lives? A charity begins at home. That's an old saying. Guys, so this has to start from our own way of doing things and then implementing in our workplace and our corporate houses. So social responsibility is something we are trying to create a community of interest, which is going to help society in big way. And iMason has been a great example across the globe, and they are the one who's taking this all the countries. And I'm sure along with them, there are a lot of implementation which has to happen in India, and we are going to help this community, and we are going to create community of interest in many cities, which will help data center to be more efficient from a social responsibility perspective. Education is something I think we have to attract a lot of talent in this industry, and people should see future in this subject. And I'm sure a lot of colleges, a lot of technical schools, a lot of students have put in a lot of efforts to how do we become efficient in a sustainability. I think I see a clearly rise in interest from people. And then from our side as a corporate, we need to promote this big time so that we attract more and more kids, more and more students, more and more colleges and the professional people who come in and help education to be more efficient, and people join proactively in this. Not only that, actually a lot of experienced people, veteran people are the experienced people can help us to implement the social responsibility and the sustainability piece very effectively. So we are proposing ex-military veterans are those who are the most disciplined people among all of us. They are the one who if they join the DC industry, it is going to help us big time. And it is going to help, and the speed is the important aspect in the sustainability. That is something which is most important. Adani Connects is obviously we belong to a power company, and we are going to play as a change agent for a sustainability. And it's beyond power. It is actually all types of carbon is getting emitted. So how do we make sure carbon emission itself is minimized? So we are working on this subject, and we are going to make this as a role model for rest of the country or corporate houses. We will bring everyone together, and we'll make sure this sustainability is core of our business and our behavior. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Sanjay. That was an excellent presentation. And I'd just like to echo a couple of the interesting points you made. Yes, the iMasons is a platform where we can come together, leaving our companies at the door, and we can tackle issues that we can better tackle together. Also, technology is going to be key. We all realize that technology is going to be critical to achieving a sustainable future, but a lot of the technology we require hasn't been developed yet. So technology is key, working together is key, and I'm very pleased to hear that a lot of our panelists and speakers agree that iMason is the right platform for us to come together and work together for a better future.